Okay, this meeting is being recorded. Awesome. So, what is this talk about? So, I'm here to basically give an insight into my thought process when testing a web based target. Now, I have released my methodology for free that you can download literally for free right now at bugbountyhunter.com/zshauno. And I will be using some parts of that in this talk. Now, the way I hack, so a lot of people love their recon, they love running tools, they love seeing lots of data scroll down on their screen, etc., and running lots of VPSs. And yeah, whereas my approach to hacking is, imagine TripAdvisor has just invited me to their program, they've forgiven me and they want me to hack again on them. I don't care at first. Now, that's key. At first, I don't care because obviously I do care, but it comes to me later on. But first of all, what I'm going to do and what I care about is I'm just simply going to visit www.tripadvisor.com, and I want to see exactly how things work, what's available, common occurrences, patterns, and learning how basically things work. Just going to get the chat up so I can get it up. All right. So again, this is, lots of people have their own approach to hacking, and I always strongly recommend to people that don't necessarily don't follow people's advice down to a T as such. Like, you've got to put your own spin on things, your own thought process, mindset, and thinking out the box, because you'll end up finding a lot more cool, interesting bugs, etc. Use what is out there already and what is in this talk to help you start your journey, basically. So very quickly, for those of you who have attended this talk and not quite sure who I am, so I'm a self-taught web app hacker, and I go by the alias zshauno online. My real name is Sean, and I'm from the United Kingdom. I've participated in bug bounties since around late 2015, and I focused, believe it or not, on just TripAdvisor, and I managed to reach number 2 on Bugcrowd in just a couple of months behind MongoBug when he used to be around. I've found approximately over 1,000 vulnerabilities across bug bounty programs, vulnerability disclosure programs. And I actually recently finished 3rd overall in terms of bounties being paid on Amazon's live hacking event. So I started Bug Bounty Hunter to teach people basically how to replicate what I do, because I strongly believe that what I do isn't anything special as such. It's just about getting your head around the fact that you're simply using their site as intended, exactly how they've built it, but you're putting the hacker mindset in front of that and uncovering stuff and getting paid for it. So, new target, what do we do? Because a lot of people, they know how to hack. I mean, you've been on Portswigger, you've been on various other challenge websites. You know, you feel like you've got hacking down to a T, but it's like, well, how do I actually go and apply this? Because I always say to a lot of people, it's fair enough. You can know how to hack and you can have lots of experience, but when it actually comes to like the mindset and applying this, it's where quite a few people struggle as such. And I've even seen pen testers where, like I say, they're really good at what they do, but then when it comes to bug bounty programs and heavily tested websites and things, it's a bit like, well, what do I do? So again, everyone has their own approach to hacking. This is just literally my approach. I like to feel as well that I'm at a comfortable stage where I can just start hacking. Like after the stream, I could just start hacking right now, and I've got the rhythm down. I know what I'm doing as such. And that's what comes with time and experience. And that's what I'm hoping to teach other people. So you can literally spend 6 months doing bug bounties, earn a nice amount of money, and then you can take the rest of the year off, or you can use it to invest in other startups, ideas you have, help people, etc., etc. So first of all, what's available to me? So literally imagine you're on tripadvisor.com. I don't care too much, first of all, about testing things as such. I just want to know what's available to me. So can I log in, register? And once I have logged in, what can I do? So for example, on TripAdvisor, you can either be a user who's posting reviews on your hotels, or you can go one step further and become a hotel manager. So instantly there, I've created so much attack surface as such to myself. So then second of all is simply, how do things work? So again, let's say, for example, I've signed up as a normal user. I then sign up as a hotel manager or like a hotel owner. is there any other roles there? Is there anything else interesting there? Basically, how do things work? Because then you can start putting, like, you start thinking about, okay, so what do the developers consider or not consider? Hopefully, in our case, when developing this. So, for example, imagine you are able, a website releases a new feature where they can promote XYZ. And the reason the company has built this is because their revenue was down. They've had meetings. They're like, how can we generate more revenue? So they come up with this idea and they've coded this new feature. Now, I actually wrote a blog post on this because this is actually a finding that I finding from mine previously, where to claim ownership of something, you had to basically verify you actually worked there. But then a new feature got released where you could promote your product, and as long as you used valid credit card details, which again you could actually use sandbox stuff and it worked, it would actually give you root admin of that product. So that goes into, again, thinking, how do things work? How new is this feature? Why was this feature actually made? And actually getting a little thought into why you're hacking this. Then I like to find common patterns and occurrences. So this is like parameter names. And again, if I found an XSS where I can see that they've actually put some effort in to try and prevent this, but then I found another XSS where there was no protection at all, no WAF, etc., filtering, then to me, that's a common pattern occurrence as such that the developers probably haven't fixed XSS site-wide. They probably aren't too clued up on XSS if they're creating filters in some places and in other places they're not, etc. So that would say to me, okay, there's probably going to be a lot of other silly mistakes made here. And yeah. And then lastly is the bug bounty hunter mindset. So if you're doing bug bounties, now, again, I'm saying it's bug bounties as well, and bug bounties in the terms of you're going to get paid for your work. So if you're just hitting vulnerability disclosure programs, then I don't class it as the same as such, because again, it's a bit different when I feel like money is at the end of it, because once you can get your teeth stuck into one program and you've worked out what's available to you, you've worked out how things work, you've found various issues already, hopefully, with doing your testing, and found common parameters, reuse, etc. Once you have that knowledge about this program, you can non-stop hack on it, and it becomes basically essentially like your personal ATM machine. And again, that's with the whole bug bounty mindset of understanding, well, okay, the developers made this one mistake, you've reported it and been paid, but chances are they're actually going to learn from what you've reported them, or are they going to make that mistake later on down the line? And the more you do bug bounties, the more you'll realize that developers, despite being informed about these various issues they have, they still continue to make the same mistakes. And that's why you'll see a lot of people believe that some bug bounty programs are not using their bug bounty program for the correct reason as such. They're using it as more of a, you tell them what's wrong and they're just going to pay out for that and not do anything further with it, really. So, yeah. So what's available to me? So we're actually going to do some live hacking. And this is actually going to be it's going to be on Barker, which is part of paid membership on Bug Bounty Hunter. And I did mention there's going to be a little something at the end for you guys. And for those of you who know me, you know that I love looking after people and helping people. So I'm sure you can put two and two together. Just a little warning there. If you are a member of Bug Bounty Hunter watching this, because I did share it with my members and said, hey, come check this out if you want to do some live hacking on Barker and get some help as such. Potentially going to see some spoilers because, well, I'm going to show you doing some hacking and yeah, we might find some bugs. So let's leave that there. So this is what Barker is. It's a social media website for you to share information about your dogs. Now, I'm going to just switch back because, like I say, it's got what's available to me. So I'm purely interested on what features are available to me. So I want to get a feel for how the actual website works, right? So instantly, we have home, we have communities. So what is communities? Okay, so we can make various groups. We can instantly see here that we have post privacy as well. So that would instantly say to you as a hacker, well, if you can view private posts, you've probably got yourself a bug. Same with instant. Again, this is just visual things that I'm looking at. And this is what you should do when you're going through a website and literally you're looking at exactly how it's intended to be built. And you're trying to see if you can break that. So this group here, for example, requires admin approval to join. We have various things like tips, add your own dogs, which I'm presuming you need to be registered for. So again, I'm thinking, this is me thinking out loud. I'm instantly thinking, okay, to post a dog, I'm assuming you're going to need to be registered, and it's confirmed with that. But it would say to me, well, what can I actually, okay, so I'd register and log in at this point, and then I'd start seeing, well, okay, can I post a dog without being authenticated? And what might this lead to? Again, whenever you're testing, always think about the impact and things like that. So we have creative, which we can see here. We can create a new account. Yes, there's functionality here for me to play with. So if we go onto the register account, if I actually pull up my methodology as well, real quickly, because I mentioned if you actually all want to pull up my methodology as well to come through with this with me, I actually mention, so it is on page 40. So again, this is literally my live thoughts as to how I'm hacking. So what is required to sign up is, first of all, so if we go onto the register, they want email address, password, a PIN code, a username, profile picture, so we can actually upload some stuff, a display name, description. We have buy premium, which says coming soon. So already there's so many attack vectors here and interesting things, and we haven't even signed up yet. But already the hacker in me is thinking, well, what can I upload? What if I set my display name to certain things? What is this premium? It says it's coming soon, and it lists all of the premium benefits. So potentially, if I could become premium without paying, or can I access premium features without being premium? There's so many thoughts already going through my head. So let's actually register and check some stuff out. I'll just register real quickly here, because we want to see, well, what becomes available to us, because we've seen what's available to us when we're not logged in. So we can't join groups. I'm just going to upload a random photo. I can bring this back now. So I just upload a random photo. And let's do some basic testing. So I always say to people, if there's going to be some sort of filtering or WAF in place, it probably isn't going to pick up a H2 tag. So I always start off with that. Literally, it's just the way I hack. You may like try some different characters, approach it differently, but I want to see what happens. So I'm going to turn burp on as well, because we want to get a little look into what's happening. My password doesn't match, so it needs to be at least 8 characters. Hopefully this is basic account details. Oh. So I've registered, and instantly, actually, I can see here that it says that Patrice is actually a premium user. So I actually know that there's already different account levels. And also, what's this? Only Patrice has this, and someone also has this different icon. So I'm already having lots and lots of hacker thoughts go through my mind, thinking there's lots to try here. And this is where people can then think, well, what do I try first? What do I do? Now, it can be very easy to sit here and think, well, I'm going to start trying to post lots of stuff, edit my account information and things like that. But what we tested was XSS in our display name and description. Now, we can see in our name, not vulnerable. However, in our description, what's happened? Let's go on inspect element. Let's have a little look. Okay, interesting. So let's have another little look in this. Test. So, well, there's a few interesting things here that already is springing to my mind. We can see here that in our name, it wasn't vulnerable, but in our description, it has placed it. So why is it not vulnerable in my profile name, but it is vulnerable here? And has the developer only fixed the XSS bug here in the profile name because they're literally escaping it here, but maybe they've used the profile name in other places and forgot, or do you know what I mean? Again, because literally this, if the developer understands what XSS is and how to prevent against it, you'll see it filtered throughout. Whereas I'm getting the thoughts here that this developer is maybe not handling it throughout and is just escaping it in certain places. So it'd say to me that potentially this web application is vulnerable to XSS. So this leads on to wherever my slides have gone. So it's what's available to me. So what we've seen is we can register and log in, and we can, again, this is instantly an attack feature, attack vector, sorry, where can you do authenticated actions, non-authenticated. Literally, you just got to simply compare and see various things and then assess the impact. We know we can edit our profile. We can create and manage a group as well as join one. We can potentially sign up to creative. We didn't actually try sign up to that, but we'll have a little look at that. We know we can post content, and we know we can add a dog with extra functionality. So let's actually go back to Barker and have a little more of a look through. So let's check out communities. Actually, let's do tips first. So what are tips? We don't know what this web application is. It would say to us potentially other users have some sort of escalated privileges where they can post these tips. Because I can't seem to post a tip. I can't see anything visually. This again would be where you'd have a little look in any JavaScript files. So potentially there may have been, you know what I mean, a URL here saying that to post a tip is actually just sending a post request to API/post tip. But we can see here various interesting things. So we've got various JavaScript files, API.js, post.js, search.js. So again, the hacker in me is thinking there's so much to do here. But you have to just take a little step back and take it at face value, write your notes and make sure you know your objective as to what you're doing, because you don't want to sit here and say, right, I'm now going to go quickly hunt through all these, because you need to understand why you want to actually look through them. What are you actually looking for that's going to help you discover more bugs? So we've discovered, for example, already they're vulnerable to XSS. So if you was to look through these JavaScript files, primarily at this moment in time, you'd be looking for more URLs and endpoints to test for XSS, right? So again, there's lots of interesting things here that you would start testing. I'm not going to actually do this here because, yeah. So let's check out dogs. Again, we're just getting a little feel for what's around. And I'm hoping lots of you watching this are thinking the same thoughts, like, okay, there's interesting things here. Okay. So we can add a dog. We can add name, age, breed, image, and we can also provide a URL to an image. So to you as a hacker, you should instantly be thinking, okay, the developers had to code something here to send a request to this URL that we define to fetch the image. Can we make it fetch anything else? What has the developer may have done to prevent you from doing that? Can they be bypassed in any ways? And yeah, down the rabbit hole you go on that one. So let's check out communities and let's have a little look at this. So let's just create. So we've got, let's try this all here again. Test, because again, we want to see if any of this. Okay, so I can check this box here as well. Approve join request. That obviously means whether to make it private or public. So that would say to you again, you've got another thing to test here. Can you join groups without any approval? Because this group requires admin approval to join. So we can see various of our, where's Burp gone? I did have it open. We can see that various of our input has been reflected, but let's have a look at test. Okay, so we can see that the group name is actually vulnerable to XSS as well. Simply enough, no filtering at all there. Group description, however, no. But again, is it used anywhere else in the web application? Potentially. Who knows? So let's carry on with the slides. If I can get back to it. I hope everyone is following with me at the moment as well, by the way, and you understand everything. Again, if you've got any questions, etc., just drop them in the chat and I'll get to them at the end of it. So, second of all, how do things work? So this is where my checklist with each feature comes into play. So I've already, this was a target that I was looking at for a bug bounty program. I wouldn't actually be focusing on other vulnerabilities, even though I've seen where I can provide a URL to fetch an image. I would simply at this moment, well, again, for that, I would be testing various SSRF payloads. But first of all, my primary focus is XSS, because I've got my foot in the door and I've understood, okay, they're vulnerable to XSS. And they're filtering different things in different places. So they're probably going to be making these mistakes in lots of other places. And again, this is mentioned in my methodology, which I'll quickly find the page for everyone, because so page 18 with common issues I start with and why. And it's, again, I'm trying to get an idea as to how the developers are thinking here, because developers are just humans like us, and they just code things, they make mistakes, and mistakes for us turn to bugs, and bugs turn into money. So let's actually do some hacking, carrying on some hacking on Barker for this part. So if we go back to groups, and let's edit our group. Again, in my methodology, I mentioned to people, even though when we created a group, we've discovered that the group name was vulnerable, what about if there's different code being used when we edit our group? Because maybe, again, only the code to filter our XSS is when you create it. But what about if editing it is different? So let's just simply add some random different information, edit our group, and see if anything has happened. So what we can see here is in the group description, it's escaped, filtered, not vulnerable at all. In the group name, we've already discovered it's vulnerable. However, in the tagline, it's removed it altogether. So we have 3 different ways that it's being handled here. So on my methodology, if you actually go onto page 20 with my process for testing for XSS vulnerabilities, I can see that my basic test of a harmless XSS payload hasn't worked. So for the tagline instead, I'm just going to try nothing, just simply a less than sign. And we're going to edit our group. Okay, so now, again, you can see that it's different. Can everyone see this if I zoom in? So there's the group name. And last time we saw that H2 was being filtered completely. However, it hasn't filtered our less than sign. So first step to potentially get an XSS here. Let's try some different stuff. We come back to here. So we can see there that some sort of web application firewall is in place to filter this tagline, and they're not actually checking for complete HTML tags, which you will actually see very commonly done with application firewalls. So we've just discovered there. Can everyone understand and follow with that as well? How you will see that the group name is vulnerable, but you saw that it was completely stripped out on the tagline, and it wasn't vulnerable at all on the group description. Now, you would have reported the group name. Obviously, after some testing, you would have hopefully found this one as well. With the group description, what I would add in my notes at this point is wasn't vulnerable at all to XSS, potentially used elsewhere. Because what about if you can import or use this group? How is it filtered on mobile? After you can determine that it's not used anywhere else, and that's after you've been through their entire website, potentially multiple times, then you can add onto your notes, definitely not used anywhere, or you can remove it from your notes. And you can, you go through your checklist and work things out as to how things are being used and where they're being used and how the developer has created it. So just going to pull up. Yeah, so hopefully everyone is following. And like I say, we've just literally found 2 XSS bugs there already on Barker, or 3 actually. And we haven't actually done too much testing already. And already, I don't know about you lot, but the hacker in me feels fired up and I feel hyped. I just want to continue hacking. So we'll go back to my slide. So if you go through my methodology, again, it's free. You haven't got to pay for any of it. And you literally follow it to a T as such. I mean, not to a T because I can't follow anything to a T, but take the advice that I've put on there on board and use the site as intended. And literally bugs will start to appear for you. And the more you look at your program, the more you will find, trust me. I do have something in the works to help you try find a program. Finding a program has always been, there's no clear cut what to do. It's all about what you enjoy. So some websites I've been hacking on, I know that other hunters haven't enjoyed hacking on them. They're saying, I can't find too much. I don't know what I'm doing. Whereas I'm in my element. I'm like, that's great, man. This is good. And it's the same happened to me. I mean, even at live hacking events at HackerOne, some hackers have really gone to town. They've really enjoyed hacking on this asset. And me personally, I'm like, I'm lost. It's just, I don't know. It's just what works for you. Don't literally sit there and wait for somebody to tell you what to hack on. Have a little look through directories, have a look on Google, and being a bug bounty hunter is about becoming your own boss, because you can wake up when you want, hack as long as you want. And the less responsibilities you have in life right now, I highly recommend that you seriously take bug bounty hunting seriously, because it can change your life. I mean, I was retweeting recently where this hacker has earned over $100,000 in 6 months. I mean, if you're 18 years old and you have no responsibilities and you can earn $100,000 in 6 months and then start enjoying life, you can set your future up seriously. And you'll find, like I say, that you'll pick it up and you'll have companies potentially approaching to work with you. I strongly believe bug bounty hunting can literally create so many opportunities for you in life, really. And that's what I'm trying to help people do as well. So let's carry on. So how do things work? A little recap. So we saw that certain characters, such as the more than and less than sign, were only filtered in certain places throughout the site. So we can determine that there's probably a lot more XSS mistakes probably made, as well as other mistakes. So we're probably going to find some open redirects. We'll probably find code reused. So again, if you found one parameter vulnerable, it's probably going to be vulnerable on other endpoints. And you go down the rabbit hole with that one, which leads on to 1 bug, 2 bug, hat trick. So are any common parameters used anywhere, which I just mentioned? So I'm going to do, again, a bit more testing on Barker, and I'm going to combine with the knowledge that we've already found some XSS. Let's try some common parameters in various places. Now, this is something that I write down as I'm testing the website. So let's load up Barker again. So the parameter names, let me find my Burp Suite as well. So if we look here, Ben did tell me how to, can everyone see that? I did change the font. Let me change it again. Where is it again? Display font size 17. There we go. It didn't change anything. Oh, I got to restart, but whatever. That's annoying. Okay, so anyway, let's send that to a repeater so you can see it a little bit better. So I would be writing down various parameter names. So tagline, language, especially, because what happens if I can literally just put into Barker language equals XSS? Are they using the language parameter anywhere at all? Have any cookies which handle language being used anywhere? Because language, you'll see this actually on a lot of websites, that language is set in a cookie value for a lot of websites to basically handle the language of the website. So it's a common parameter used and it's commonly used. Whereas in this case, no. But this is where you would try various other various other alternative word into that. So lang, etc., which we will go to more in a bit on that. So we've got description, location, name, and this is again just on group, but these are parameter names that I'll be writing down, right? And things like that. Now, does everyone know where we're going to try them? Always on registering and logging out. So, I mean, we can already see here when we actually click login that it's already been inputted for us there. Return URL equals that. So I know based on previous knowledge of testing this, that they're vulnerable to XSS. Let's actually see what happens if we put / XSS. Again, we can see right here that it's actually vulnerable. Let's have a look. Yeah. So we know it's vulnerable. We need to break out of this. So again, we've got another XSS there. But is this return URL used anywhere else? Because when I click register, return URL isn't actually input for us. So what happens if I put that on there? What happened just there? It automatically redirected me. Again, let's go into Burp and see what happened there. So I sent a GET request and it redirected me instantly. Okay, that worked differently when we visited the login page and tried this parameter. So what's actually happening here? Can I get an open redirect very easily? Oh, it looks like I can. That's interesting. And then you would have to determine, can you do that? Is it just because you're authenticated? What happens if you do visit it authenticated, non-authenticated, and things like that? And instantly already you can see we're going down the rabbit hole. Now, that's just simply sending a GET request with that. What would happen if when I was registering, if I intercepted the request and added the return URL? And does it work any differently? What happens? Maybe it might give you internal error because it doesn't like it at all. Who knows? But you're testing what you are seeing and testing it throughout. So let's check out Creative, for example. We didn't actually log in here. So let's try return URL on this login page. So nothing happened. Let's have a little look. No, XSS isn't found at all. We can see that we've got var version. We have an action login, but no, it doesn't seem to handle that. Let's try create an account actually as well. So test. Let's make sure the Burp is on. Yeah, it is on. It's set the scope correctly. It says create account. And what happened, it just sent me straight back here. So can I just log in with that? Invalid username, password, or your account is pending approval. Okay, interesting. Let's figure out what's happening here with that. We just add this to the scope. So we sent a post request to log in with, and what was the response? Nothing. Let's take a deeper look at this and see what is going on then. So testing, test, create account. Why is it not coming up in my request? Here we go. Okay, so this is the request. It's sending a post request to API make account, and then it's simply redirecting, but it doesn't appear to be letting me create the account. And yeah, it seems pending approval is true. It was successful, so I configure it has made my account, but I can't seem to log in. Let's try this return URL. So if I go to sign up and add return URL, and then I try, it didn't redirect me at all. So we can safely say that potentially return URL isn't actually used here. So that would signal to you different code has been used for the sign in, and it's actually further confirmed as it says your Barker Social account will not work here. So it basically means that the code that we log in on Barker Social with doesn't actually work on here, and there's different code being used. So you would go down the rabbit hole with actually trying some things here. Now, I don't know if anyone wants to have a little guess here, and if you guess correct, then well, maybe potentially you can win yourself membership. But we can see that when we make an account on Creative, we can't log in because pending approval. If you see this request, what is something that you would try to actually get this to work, do you think, based on what you can see? Drop your ideas in the chat or send me a message, however you want to do it, and let me know what you would actually want to try here. So you can see here that you've got version 1.0.4, and you've got in the request the username and password. And it's literally telling you pending approval is true. So what would you do to actually get that to? So add the pending approval params. Okay, so let's put pending approval equals false. It's give us the same on that one. Pending approval is still true. Oh, that's because I didn't put the parameter correct. My bad. There we go. So pending approval equals false in the request is still giving us true, actually. So modifying pending approval equals false. How about response manipulation? Yeah, we can try that. How do we intend on? I mean, yeah, but even if the response it gives us true, you reckon it's still going to let us log in potentially? Parameter pollution. Okay. So one thing. Okay. So when we're looking through this web application, we can see that there are two mentions to the version being used as well. And yeah, Shivam has just mentioned, let's remove the version. We got the same. What happens if we try a different version, as X Hunters also, and yeah, a few of you have actually said lower versions. So let's try 1.0.3. We got auto approval is false, but still pending approval true. So let's try version 2. We got the same. Let's try 1. Oh, okay. We got something different here. So if we actually change the version back to 1.0.1, it's told us the approve parameter must be supplied. So let's try approve equals true. It's telling me the approved parameter still must be supplied. So let's try in a get in the request rather than a parameter. And there we go. Pending approval equals false. Nice. We're in. So let's log in. And suddenly we have access to even more features. Interesting. So Barker Creative is for you to show off your creativity of your dogs and reward them with gifts and treats. Use our web interface and create a widget for either your dog or your Barker profile. Interesting. So we can create a widget for our profile. So what do members we had to write into our notes? Profile description was handled differently. Potentially the profile description may be used here. So let's have a little look here. We have Barker profile, Barker dogs, and creative promotion. We also have a documentation. So interesting. We have some API endpoints where we can pull our information. So lots of attack vectors here. Let's check out Barker profile. So step 1, input your Barker social username. Okay. What was our username? Like test or something, wasn't it? Yeah, test. So let's have a little look at this. Let's import our account. If it can find it. Let me see what is happening behind the scenes. It's just, I believe you need to actually post. Well, it's not, again, so sometimes web applications don't work as intended, how you want them to work. Databases don't cache straight away and things like that. So you might be thinking, what's actually going on here? Let's try get our account known as such. So let's post some content, shall we? Because we haven't actually done that either. And we know we can attach our image as well. So let's back to the world. Oh, wait, what? Interesting. So we've actually potentially found another XSS here, or is that's from our profile name, isn't it? Yeah, so we know our profile name is actually vulnerable in posts as well, which is interesting to us because it's something I would report, in my opinion, because I mean, they're handling these values in all different places and handling it differently. So let's go to our profile. So we've made a post. Let's see if Creative has found it now. So we can actually see that it is importing our profile description. Join test on Barker Social. Okay, cool. So I've made a creation. Let's check it out. Okay, introduces even more. I can connect a group. and I can view it. So this is my Barker profile, but I can see that the profile description still isn't vulnerable. Still not vulnerable at all. So it might signal to me that, okay, there's nothing actually interesting there at all with that. However, have I tested it on a mobile device? Let's just try iOS. Okay, interesting. It actually redirected me to a mobile endpoint, and it's actually handling it differently. And we can see right there that it's actually vulnerable. So again, we've just found that profile description isn't vulnerable on Barker. However, if you then go and import your profile on Creative and then create a Barker profile to mobile users, it's vulnerable. Now, potentially, there could be even more things here. So what's different in the mobile version to the desktop version? So if we just, Tommy, if we just literally have a look in the header, with every the style sheets are referenced. If we then actually go back to what's the extension? So the extension is called Chrome UA Spoofer. Chrome UA. Oh, I just sent that to somebody privately. Oops, my bad. Sorry. Chrome UA Spoofer. It's on Chrome extensions, and yeah, literally you can just click and you get exactly whatever you want. I also highly recommend that you edit this cookie, because it helps you. And also I have what is it called? Proxy Sharp, Foxy thing, where I can literally just click Switchy Sharp. That's it, where I can just easily click between Burp, direct connection, and yeah. But back to hacking. So we can see here that, first of all, that Barker Creative is using an older version. Again, it's something common I'm seeing throughout, that version has been referenced. And let's have a little look if the header is different at all as to why is it vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? So we can see it goes back to the normal desktop. And interestingly, there's actually, what is this? Markdown JS. So that would signal to me potentially try some Markdown in the profile description. Maybe there's something there. I'm not actually going to test this right here because I don't want to give away too many things for viewers and things like that. But this is showing me my live thoughts of going down and determining how just one part of a website can be vulnerable in different places and things like that. So somebody just asked me why Burp 1.7.27, and my answer to that is I'm actually using 3.7, believe it or not. But the answer to that is, why fix what isn't broken? All I need is target, repeater, and intruder. I don't use anything else. I don't know what all this scanning stuff is. I don't use any of this issue stuff. I try to get it over there as far as possible. I want it gone. I hate it. I've never, ever, ever used a live scan thing, whatever you're doing here. Never. I've never done it. I don't even know how to use this scan queue, if I'm honest. No idea. Literally, I don't even have any. What extensions have I got installed? So I even got Collaborate Everywhere enabled at the moment. I just got add custom header for when clients want me to add certain things in user agents and things like that. Yeah, I just like seeing what's in front of me. So, for example, look, there's so much for me here to click around, and I can see exactly what's happening in Burp. And as long as I can modify these requests and test things, that's all I need personally. I don't really like to rely on automated scanners and things like that, because I don't know. They work for some people, but it's about fine tuning them, I guess, for them to work for you. But yeah. So that has showed us, look how many tabs instantly I end up getting. And this is the story of my life with how I have so much. So I got a little bit off track there when we was testing the return URL, but we had a little exercise and you guys managed to work out how we actually sign up to Creative. Now, there's quite a few people who actually haven't worked that out yet. So we've just helped them there, and that's great. And like I say, I'm going to be giving some giveaways at the end of this, because I'm sure lots of you want to come hack on Barker as well. But as you can see, so it can take months to go through web applications. The bigger they are, the more there is to play with, the more there is for you to write down and test. It might seem daunting at first that there's lots for you to play with. I mean, look at Creative and Barker, how much there is. Get stuck in, enjoy the process, literally have fun, because that's what hacking is. I mean, my girlfriend will tell you that I will happily sit here for 8 hours nonstop hacking and just getting in the mindset and covering things because it's fun. And it's just, I mean, we're legally allowed to hack these big Fortune 500 companies and we don't get in trouble. So I can see somebody's put waiting for months to join Bug Bounty Hunter. We were recently open, but at the moment we're just sorting business logistics. So we've converted Bug Bounty Hunter to an actual business, got Bug Bounty Hunter LTD registered. We're in the business of getting, in the process, of getting all paperwork signed, getting everything in order so we can really scale things, do things correctly and properly. And yeah, we will most definitely be open by the end of the month. But yeah. So let's carry on. So the Bug Bounty Hunter mindset. So I'm only going to speak about this a little briefly, really, because I don't want to go over my talk for J-Rocks, because he's got a great talk after this with going on internal networks. But think about the Bug Bounty mindset, right? You literally get to sit there in your own home, wherever you may be in the world, however old you may be, whatever gender you may, whatever you say you are, etc., then you haven't got a boss. You're able to work your own hours, hack on whoever you want to hack, obviously, of course, if they're legally allowing you to. You can turn this into a job where you are your own boss. So you choose your own hours, you choose your targets, and you choose, I say, how much time and effort you're putting into these things. But it's about understanding that, like I say, yes, companies should have a bug bounty program, but I strongly feel like a lot of companies have bug bounty programs for the wrong reasons, and they only have them to basically tick something off their checklist to say, look, we have a bug bounty program, we are working with hackers, everything is fine and dandy, but they're not actually taking on board what you're reporting to them and understanding how to fix these issues a lot further, deeper down and site-wide. And like I say, that can turn into your income. Basically, their mistakes turns into your income. So that goes on to say, mindset is key. So think it, hack it. Now, when testing your target, you need to think like a criminal. Now, I've put criminal in quote marks there because we aren't criminals, because we act like white hats. But think about what a criminal wants to do. They want to get their hands on lots of data, don't they? And recently, Clubhouse has supposedly leaked everyone's mobile numbers as well. So if you was hacking Clubhouse, I would have thought to myself, okay, if I can get access to these these mobile numbers, they are going to want to know about this, and you're likely going to get paid a nice amount of money, and they're going to be impressed with you. So I've given another example there, where imagine the company you're testing actually handles lots of people's shipping information. What would spring to mind for a criminal to try to want to access because it's worth money? They want to sell it and cause havoc, etc., etc. So you, as a white hat, start considering how many places in this web app is it handled? How many places is it used? Mobile apps, desktop apps? Is the same parameter for this address, wherever you may use it, used? Is the same format used, etc., etc.? And if you are able to sign up on this website that you're testing, for example, and you can become the one who actually ships the information, again, does it all work the same as the actual, rather than being the customer and the actual company as such? And like I say, down the rabbit hole you go. So literally my entire mindset of hacking is literally understanding how the web application works. So that's how I finished third on Amazon. I didn't run any recon tools at all. I literally just visited www.amazon.com, and so much to play with, so much different user functionality that a week testing them wasn't enough time. And I wish I could have kept going, really. And I probably will return to them at some point. But literally anyone, you don't have to understand how like hacking as such. It's about seeing how the feature in front of you works, what's intended, and how they've gone wrong. So with that said, I'm happy to take any questions that anyone may have. Again, I don't want to run over time. I believe I'm got like 2 minutes technically, but I also want to say to the owners, the organizers of this event, that I am prepared to give you guys 15 accounts to give away to those who you choose. And I'm also going to reach out to a few of you after the stream. So stay in the chat as to who mentioned the version when we were doing that testing, because I'm going to personally invite you myself as well. But yeah, to the organizers, I'm going to reach out to you on Twitter, and you've got 15 slots to choose whoever you want to choose, however you may choose it. And I'll invite them lifetime to Bug Bounty Hunter to come learn hacking. So yeah. So if anyone has any questions, then feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will do my best to go through them and answer them basically. So when choosing a target, what do you generally look for? So I'm looking for lots and lots of functionality. So that's why I like TripAdvisor, I liked Amazon, and there's a few other programs. I did have a little look at Apple, but my experience with them hasn't been that great because they told me after 6 months my bugs were dupes. And yeah, but I know that they wasn't, because the person that I was hacking with on them actually got paid for those bugs. So yeah. I look for lots to play with. As well as that, if there's not, I mean, I was going to say something, but I'm not mentioning any programs, but think about like the type of data they may be handling, and it's like more impactful. So imagine a bank. If you was able to hack a bank, that's interesting to me. So if the target's interesting. Any advice which you would give to your younger self on bug bounty hunting? Yeah, believe it or not, I wish I spent a lot more time actually doing bug bounty hunting. But after the TripAdvisor incident, it actually really got to me. I got a little bit down and contemplated, is this for me? I wish that I turned my emotions off back then and was just old school hacker mindset, Zshawno type thing, and was just carried on hacking. But yeah, so I definitely wish I put a lot more time in when I was younger, because yeah, the older you get and the more life commitments and responsibilities, the less time you have to yourself. And especially with me hacking, I really need to sit down and get in the hacker mindset and work stuff out. Any discount for participants? I see what I can do. We are I have to get back to you on that as such. We're in the process of just getting everything set up as it is at the moment. I'll see if we can add discount potentially to our checkout. Okay, wow, there's a lot of thank you messages. How to not get overwhelmed while testing. So just take your time. There's no race. There's no one behind you with a gun to your head saying, come on, carry on hacking, hack, hack, hack. Just take a step back, understand what it is you're testing, understand your goal, what it is you're trying to achieve here. And if you find yourself jumping from feature to feature, feature to feature, not finding a lot, then you're potentially going to get burnt out because you're getting all confused. Take a step back, work out a plan. Give yourself a plan of action. Does Barker include server-side vulnerabilities? Yes, it does. We have, I will tell you right now quickly. So we have three server-side request forgeries. We also have like a fourth little fun one if people want to go a little bit further. We have an RCE. We have some XSE bugs. And yeah, we're working on a lot more. We want to add some like deserialization bugs and things like that. I'm actually just trying to give people a bit of time to go through Barker, understand things, and not put too much on them straight away, really. How do I filter out the subdomains? So what do you mean by that? When I'm basically scanning for subdomains, I've actually got a tutorial where I will run them through XAMPP and Burp Intruder, because I want to find the ones that are live, but I want to actually find the ones that are responding to like robots.txt, which lead on to more, which ones have /login and things like that. I have a video of that. I have a blog post on that on bugbountyhunter.com. Do you have all your videos in your channel, even the ones you do for specific events like this one? So it'd be great if the people recording this, like the organizers, can send me a copy of this and I will upload this to my YouTube. I also have 2 videos on Bug Bounty Hunter, which are due to go for public release, because what I'm doing for bounty training videos is I'm releasing for the members first, and then they'll go on my YouTube after. I'm a little bit behind. I say a little bit. I'm quite behind on a few jobs because there's been a few issues in live stuff that's had to come first, but I'm getting there. We're getting there. Do we have to focus on every type of bug? So that's all explaining my methodology, I believe. So I'm looking for the features, and then when you see the certain feature, based on what you can actually do with this feature with the user input, that will determine what type of bug you should actually be looking for here. So how do I look for access control bugs? So again, you saw on Barker that you can sign up as like premium, non-premium, and things like that. So instantly, that's where I'm starting testing for things like that. How to become an expert in bug hunting: time, consistency, hustle hard, never give up. Being a hacker is fun and enjoyable. I don't do bug bounty hunting just for the money. I really enjoy hacking and the aspect and the whole puzzle side of stuff. I am going to do a write-up on my recent bugs. So I'm waiting for them to actually fix them. For a critical, they still haven't fixed them, which is like awkward. You can find my methodology right here. Somebody's asked, I'm just going to paste the link. I've got 80 messages to catch up on. I'm actually not going to say this because it may scroll down to the bottom. But for my methodology, it's bugbountyhunter.com/ZShauno. How do I look for SQL injection? That is actually explaining my methodology. So I'm trying various characters. I look at the parameter name and assume what's actually going to be happening here. So when I'm saving, for example, like my user information, I know that it's going to be posting to the database, but compared to, for example, a search field, it's actually querying from the database. So I try various different things here. I have a list of vulnerabilities that I want to check in my methodology. Highly recommend bugbountyhunter.com/ZShauno. It's free to download. It's like, I don't know, 70 pages. Really take it on board, but also view all of my videos to go with it and things like that. How you look in not much functionalities web application? Good question. So yeah, I guess that's where I try to avoid them things, because I like lots to play with. I get distracted easy. I get bored easy, and I like to keep myself on my toes. So I'll have a little look through, do what I do, but if there's not a lot, I will typically kind of move on. That's, I guess, where the recon people do their thing, because they'll find some more interesting things. And that, again, is how other people hack their into it. Some people find those sort of things. I haven't got around to testing blockchain apps. I am in the process of developing something on blockchain stuff, but no, I haven't got testing blockchain apps or anything like that. In all honesty, a lot of it is still completely over my head. And I'm just like, I can't help but feel like, what is the point of a lot of this blockchain stuff? Like, yeah, the more I read into things, the more I actually question a lot of the stuff in the market. How long have I been hacking? So I got into coding around age 11, something like that. And yeah, I mean, I was hacking around 14, playing around 13, 14. Please tell everyone that they can hunt on any application on Play Store of 100 million downloads. So there you go. Any application on the Google Play Store that has 100 million plus downloads, you can go play with. Any resource for advanced bug hunting? What do you mean by advanced bug hunting? Like, what do you mean by that? How to deal with duplicates. So dealing with duplicates means you actually did find a valid bug. It's just, I mean, like I say, Apple say that I've duped on them. There's nothing we can do. It's just, okay, I might not actually know. I mean, the bugs that I found on Apple were XSS. It would say to me, okay, I'm actually going to ignore these XSS bugs. Apple's probably got a shit ton more XSS bugs out there, but based on how they said it was a dupe after 6 months, I'm not going to bother wasting my time on that. And I'm going to, okay, change my mindset and what I would look for in Apple again. Personally, I won't look at Apple again, but how do I manage my time for learning and hunting? So in all honesty, I learn while I'm hunting. That I really prefer to just chuck myself in the deep end, nearly drown, and force myself to save myself as such, because that's just me. I mean, you would think for important meetings and things that I'd be well prepared as well, but I rock up to them 2 minutes before, because it's just me. I'm bad at time management, and when I have like 10 minutes waiting for things, it feels like 10 hours. So I'm really bad at time management. I really am. How do I approach crypto programs? I don't at this moment in time. Much more power to you and your family. Much love to you as well, Yash. Appreciate that. Thank you. How to know about more such OWASP sessions. I'm not quite sure, if I'm honest. This is one of the first ones that I've been asked to do, but I'm sure you can find lots of them on Twitter.
Yeah, you can find
Yeah, I have a list
local
of
chapter.
vulnerabilities that I want to check, Tim. They are on Zshawno's My Methodology, which is linked above that. Fast Food Hacking V3 is hopefully going to be out next week. How do you filter out the subdomains from the in-scope site? What do you mean by that? What am I trying to filter out as such? Like, do you mean how do I set the scope in Burp, or which vulnerability do I look for most? I love looking for IDORs and things like that, really, where you can, I mean, you can pick your information in various different places of the website and it's handled differently and things like that. I swear I'm seeing the same questions. Do you have all your videos in your channel? Yes, I do. And I'll have this video hopefully on my channel. What bugs and programs should we focus on as newbies? Don't focus on just one bug type. Understand what it is you're actually looking for and why you're looking for it. For example, when you're logging in, how things logged in, etc., etc. Second question, what bugs to look for as a beginner? Yeah, XSS is a good place to start 100% because you can see exactly what there is there, input, and see how it's reflected. But it's also good to get your head around understanding where you actually find these common vulnerabilities and where they are, etc., etc. Any new features coming to Bug Bounty Hunter? Yes, of course. We have lots in the work. I've actually got a program directory and a way for you guys to hopefully discover a program that you want to look at and things like that. Wow, there's 114 new messages. They just keep going up, guys. Do you like specific tech when there is a lot of subdomains, for example, built on PHO is preferred rather than Django? No, it doesn't matter what the tech is, in all honesty. I just care about what features there are to me, really. How to not lose control on HackerOne triages. So I've seen all of that on Twitter. I don't agree with giving people a hard time as such. However, on the flip side of that, people have complained to various bug bounty programs about the triaging process, etc., and nothing's improved. So they kind of had to expect people to blow their shit eventually as such. Do you know what I mean? The kettle boiled. It had been boiling for a while and people kind of got annoyed. And this goes back to why a lot of programs aren't actually running a program for the correct reasons, and they just outsource it and get somebody else to manage things because, like I say, they just want to tick off their checklist that they're running the program and they're doing things correctly. And yeah, but always be respectful and professional. Don't, do you know what I mean? Don't be racist. Don't say nasty, disgusting, horrible words to people. Remain professional. If you aren't happy with how a triager has handled your report, then contact the correct channels. And yeah. Wow, that's so many questions. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Let's take the
going
questions.
over.
Yeah.
Wow, so many. You've been doing bug hunting for a year and you still haven't found any bugs? Okay, interesting.
Hello.
I'll reach out to you. Let's get you on Bug Bounty Hunter because potentially you need some help with that. But I'd like to get to know more because for a year, I mean, have you been switching from program to program? What have you been looking at? So Niraji, most of the time, less than more than will be encoded. That's what we actually did in this stream. So you can't bypass that. I mean, you try the various encodings, but typically you can't bypass them. But again, that parameter might be handled elsewhere differently.
Hi, Sean. Can you hear me?
How do I deal with burnouts? I just take time off. Literally, just go spend time outside, exercise, play some games, just take some time off. How can one jump from labs to real world application hacking? Well, that's actually why I built Barker the way Barker's built, because I don't believe being told, hey, there's XSS here, there's an IDOR here, can you find it, is a good approach. And that's why when you actually start up Barker, which I'll show you now, so I'll show you exactly how things look. 2 seconds. So when you start up Barker, when I can load it. So you go on Barker, you have your scope, It obviously tells you your engagements, what you need to do, but it tells you the policy. It literally tells you what features and what there may be available. And it, like I say, it says up to you. It's forcing you to understand how these features work, what it may be vulnerable to. So, yeah, it's, you can jump from Barker to real world application hacking, in my opinion. But yeah, so many questions. I'll do like literally 5 minutes more because we've gone over the time for the next talker, and I don't want to keep him waiting because he obviously has his own things to get on with, etc., etc. So, okay, all the messages have gone now. You've said there was 100 messages, but they've all gone. So yeah, let's wrap up the Q&A, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. I'm going to save this chat somehow and try and get everyone invited who mentioned about the versions, and I'll get you invited to Bug Bounty Hunter.